Hello guys, it's me, Stark. We have a new map here on the ranked pool. The map is called Stranded. As you can see here, Stranded, or this version of Stranded, is a map where you are born on a tiny island with a hut. I mean, immediately you have to transport your villagers towards the big island, this to the center of the map, and drop a TC. So yeah, it's a no TC start map. You also start with two ship on your initial island, and of course you will be able to scout with those ship to find out everything. You want to know more about this map? Well, the first thing you need to know is you need to transport your villagers as soon as possible, make a town center, and make a dock start, similar to the Nomad map. As soon as you finish the town center, send a villager to make a dock close to a shore fish if possible, so that your villager can keep collecting food and then produce a lot of fishing ships to eat the fish. Let's discuss the fish and later we go for the island. The thing about the fish is we have a lot of marlin fish, dolphins, so big source of food which also generate food quite fast. So your economy here, especially the food economy, will be very dependent on getting those fish. Make sure you are getting the big ones with your fishing ships so that you maximize the food output. As soon as you are able to start producing villagers, let's get to know the land a bit. First off, you can produce the town center on these woodlines close to the shore. If you try to make the town center too close to the center of the map, you might 1. Make your town center too late, 2nd, find out Komodo dragons that can actually hurt your villagers, and 3rd, not find a good spot for the town center. So my personal recommendation is to do the town center on these woodlines that are on this desert area. So basically make your TC here. Now let's talk about the other resources. Boars, the special food source here. If you draw a ring between the desert area and the forest, you are going to find all the gold mines and all the boars. Gold mine, boar, gold mine, boar, boar, gold mine, gold mine, gold mine, boar, 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 gold mine, boar, and so it is. So basically the idea here is that you need to collect those. Those will probably be your primary source of food for the Dark Age together with the fish. The fish is insane and will be the core of your economy, but for the Dark Age you might need to use the boars. So this is my personal recommendation. Get the boars and use the water buffaloes that you might actually found here in groups of 2 to help you scouting and gaining more information about the map. Remember your transport ship, don't leave it idle. Use your transport ship to go around and find out the location of your opponent's dock. Because if you want to play water or if you want to defend water, you this information of where is my opponent has my opponent docked is quite useful. You might get a bit closer from each other, so it was possible that the enemy dock was like on this spot, but you can also be closer. In most scenarios, you are going to be on opposite sides of the island, and going all this way around in order to hit the enemy fish will not be so easy. So if you want to hurt the enemy on water, and we are about to talk about strategies, go for like forward docks. If you just try to go for your back docks, your ship might have to go on a long trip, and by the time they reach the enemy, he will already have a small fleet to defend himself. Now let's discuss how you can set up your map for a better game. I think that trying to build here, getting closer to the wood line and try to secure one gold mine is essential. Gold will in most scenarios, to be honest, in all scenarios, be under a big hill. Big hill, big hill, big hill. So it's very important that you try to isolate your gold so that you can keep it, because if your opponent invests fully into Feudal Age and he drops like a tower there, man, there is not much places that you can run to. It will be very predictable that if you want to collect gold, you have to either go for the small island with a transport ship, which honestly I don't think it would be a good idea, or you have to go towards the side goats. So basically my idea here for you is try to isolate that area. Let's see here in the case of Siskan, this is the goat, so basically he's already making a house there, make like another house or a few palisades, and boom, you are completely isolated from the opponent. About the lumber camp, I recommend you doing the lumber camp on one of the big woods lines here, or if you are afraid that you're gonna get forward, you can just wall that and do the lumber camp in a small one. But by doing that, you are gonna be able to diversify your food sources, your wood sources, having one close to the town center and other on your lumber camp. Let's take a look what this guy is gonna do. There goes the lumber camp. Let's take a look on Andy. immediately there goes the lumber camp. And by the way, guys, since your economy will develop most in the water, it's possible that you are going to be able to click up with no more than 20 views on land. Exactly. Please take notice. Going for like 18 views and then clicking up will be the idea here. And since the water is pretty good, you start with a dock and you are far away from your opponent. I don't think that this is a map for you to play with less than 6 fishing ships. So I would say that doing at least 6 fishing ships here is the minimum, considering that you are already going to start making those guys very early on. Different from a regular map like 4 lakes or whatever, where you probably want to make like 4 in general, or maybe 2 if you want to go for a early barracks. So that's basically the idea. You can play in an aggressive way. You can try to play using men-at-arms and archers and hitting your opponent. You can try to go for the fast castle. To be honest, I'm a big fan of going for the fast castle in this map. You either go a very aggressive feudal age or you go for the fast castle. If you try to play a regular opening like scouts, I don't think that you are going to succeed. The map is very easy to wall. Most of the resources are going to be either walled or under the town center, so either infantry to pressure this area or archers is probably a better idea for the feudal age. So men-at-arms, archers during feudal age, perhaps even skirmishers if you want to play feudal, but if you want to play castle age, I would recommend that you actually play fast castle into cav archers, crossbowmen. You can even go for like giant swordsman if you play as the wool. Try to innovate. By the way, the stone piles are all close to the water. So they are in piles of 2 and they are all close to the water. This is their location. So if you want to go for some strategy like fast castle into conquistador, you might consider making your TC maybe closer here, or just send views and make the mining camp there. But be aware that if your opponent wins the water, it will be very difficult for you to eat the stone. It's difficult to take someone entirely out of water in a map where you are so far from each other. So my personal recommendation is play with fire ships, protect your fish, add a secondary dock so that you can maximize your efficiency by getting access to more fish. Since you have the transport ship to scout, you are probably going to find out where is the best place to do it. As you can see here on this game, End is going for a fast castle approach. He actually did a mule. Oh my god, guys, I forgot to talk about the mule options here. There are no berries on this map. You can only have access to some deers in small packs of 3 in the center of the map, but remember, there are Komodo dragons there, so that's probably not something that you are going after. Or you can actually make a meal here on the shorefish. Or if you don't want to take that either of those resources regarding food, and you just need the meal to make the market and click up, then just make the meal anywhere. So basically, your food resources are on the water. That's not a map where I'm expecting you to farm. I'm actually expecting you to eat the boars during the Dark Age, save up some herdables like the water buffaloes and your initial pigs here, or initial sheep, in order to have some extra food source, and protect your food sources by playing with fire galleys. Fire galleys are great here. I know the distance is very far away. You would argue that, oh Stark, if I want to play water, why not going for a war galleys? Here's the thing, and I'm going to explain why. Since you are going to be very far away from your opponent, by the time you actually reach his fish with your regular galleys here, it's very likely that your opponent will already have enough fire ships, and he will already be on the way up to the castle age. And of course, once in castle age, he can upgrade his regular fire galleys that only have 4 pierce armor into fire ships, which will have 6 pierce armor, basically nullifying all the effects of the galley. An attack in galley, a feudal age galley maximum attack is 7, considering fletching. So basically, you are just going to deliver 1 damage per shot against this fire ship. A single one of these guys can take can take out several galleys. So basically, trying to fight water against this is going to be very difficult, and the guy that focuses more on the fire galleys will most likely succeed in denying food to his opponent by killing both fishes and killing also the fishing ships. So basically that's the idea. Those are some of the ideas of the map. Let's take a look on another game so that we can showcase the map a bit more. Let's take a look on this one. We have here another example here. We have Freak and Andy playing against Thunderbolt. Both have great civilization choices here. Let's also discuss the civilizations here. Hunts, you can build a town center and then you win a horse that can scout, get information, and get more herdables for you. So as soon as the hunts finish the town center, he will have access to this horse, which he can use to scout, and it's a very, very great tool for nomadic maps. So if you combine your pigs scouting, your hunter, your honey horse scouting, and your transport ship, you are just going to clear a big, big portion of the map, and that will give you a lot of information about all the resources whereabouts, the boars, the water buffaloes, and you can plan yourself better. Now let's also discuss the Persian. Persian starts with extra resources, and both their town centers and docks work faster. So this civilization will be also great on this map because you can do a dock start here and start making fish way earlier than your enemy or your counterparts. And not only that, but during all the game, your both docks and town centers are going to produce faster, which is a huge boost here for the economy as the Persian. As you can see, Andy is already walling and trying to isolate some area for him to eat. He is also going for the boars. I don't think that you need more than 6 or 7 hunters during the Dark Age, because the fishing ships are also going to generate a lot of food, but it's important that you scout and find out the enemy dock. On this case, for example, take a look here. Andy is around, let's say, 10 o'clock. He's around 10 o'clock, and the dock from Thunderbolt is around 7 o'clock. So basically, they are not so far from each other. Just walking a small distance would allow those guys to hit each other's dock. So they are going for different approaches. As you can see, Andy is already dropping a barracks, and he has walled most of the map. So his second build to click up will actually be a barracks, which means that he probably plans to attack using militia or men-at-arms. I think that's a bit inconsistent from his game to rush with men-at-arms, but do not plan to make a strong follow-up or an aggressive follow-up. Since you don't have scout, and especially on this scenario where he is against the Hun, he has no idea about how close the Hun town center is from the gold, from the wood, if the Hun is walled or not. So he's basically going for a blind rush here, which is not so great. As the Hun, well, he actually has a lot of information about the map, he knows everything. To be honest, I would like his wars to explore a bit more about the Andes whereabouts, his gold, his wood line, but he's still doing a very good job. And meanwhile, the Hun player actually sent a forward villager to place a dock close to Andy. So if you want to play water, this is how you should do it. Place a dock closer to your opponent's fish, so you are going to walk a small distance in order to hit him. As you can see, fire galleys are being produced by the Hun. The Hun has gold under his town center and wood as well. So even if you rush, it will be very difficult to deliver any significant damage. Let's also not forget that the Hun can also drop a watchtower to defend himself. So yeah, guys, rushing is good, but it's less likely that you are going to deliver so much damage with those units. So here's the militia from Andy. Now he's following up here together with some skirmishers. So he wants to play with militia, skirmisher, control the map. He's killing several vehicles, now has men-at-arms. He's going for a forward tower with the goal of stopping or idling all this wood line from Thunderbolt. But the problem is, meanwhile, Thunderbolt is attacking here on the water, focusing a lot more on it, and if Andy do not defend himself properly, he might lose all of his food economy. A food economy of a player during the Feudal Age on this map should consist of fishing ships and herdables. As you can see, this is what Thunderbolt's doing. He's fishing, despite getting raided by some fire galleys, and he's eating the herdables. In a very, very bad scenario where you ended up losing your fish, you might have to go for the farms, but honestly that's probably one of the worst case scenarios. And as you can see, Thunderbolt is making a big effort here to hurt Andy's fish. Good job by him. Now Andy's economy is kind of drowning because he's only being able to produce a lot of fire ship, maybe even archers, but he's having to go after food. And as I mentioned, you have no berries as an intermediary food source. So he's actually milling here the center, trying to go for the deers, but remember, there are a lot of threats here like Komodo dragons and his opponent army. So going for the food right now with the meal is not usually the best idea unless you are controlling the map. If you're controlling the map, map, you can go and take the deers, but honestly, it's not ideal. The Hun is also reacting to having losing his fish by eating the herdables. Remember that he has a lot more buffaloes because he had the Unique horse during the early stages, while Andy is still struggling and might actually have to go for the market in order to click up. So that's basically the idea. Both players here are going for a feudal age. They were close from each other. Big fights here on the water. As you can see, Andy is forcing himself here with a lot of fire galleys, but he's not fishing, and this is actually hurting him. You can also keep moving, making new docks to fish, getting the shore fishes. Those are probably the best sources of resources here, source of food. Defend with towers, but as I said, it's very predictable where he'll probably move to. And the Hun is just having like a walk in the park here by defending his fish now and remaking some of it. So he's remaking some of his fishing ship, he's using fire galleys here to defend himself. It's very difficult for a player to completely take out the other on the water. They're trying to hurt hurt each other here constantly on the water, aiming for the fishing ships and so on, but it's very difficult to fully take out a player from this resource. Hun is attacking and is defending here with a knight and mangonel approach. Hun is attacking with cav archers, but I think that you guys already got an idea on how this map plays out, how you should build, and how few you should invest here into food. This is a scenario where both players have lost their fishing ships, so you can see that they are trying to go for the food. But different from Arabia, you don't have a regular land map where you are just gonna have enough time to go for like 18 farms on feudal age. No, that's not a thing here. So players are actually going for army compositions that do not use food. The Hun is going for their cav archers, great raiding unit, while Andy is actually going towards siege and monk to defend, because it's very difficult to compete resources to both producing villagers and army when you have a low farm eco. If both players had a lot of fish still available there, it would be very likely that they could still play gold units such as the knights. So that was the idea, guys. Hope you got an idea on how this map plays out, and as you can see, it's very predictable where you are going to build, where you are going to develop, so you can actually punish your opponent's gold because you know where he's gonna move to. So a good call that I give is play ranged units with mangonels such as Thunderbolt's playing. I'm actually considering dropping here a good build for a fast castle with one of my favorite civs for this map. By the way, guys, if you have never seen this map, there was a version of this map that we could see in tournaments where you actually started with random views here. You didn't have the starting island, but everything else was pretty similar. So if you search for stranded games on Wikipedia or even on YouTube, you might actually find some 1v1s that are of course a bit different because of the transport ship start. On these tournaments you actually had a trade cog that would help you to generate a bit more food, but anyway, because of that we already know how this plays out. Going for ranged units and mangonels is usually pretty good, and whenever you are attacking with siege you are probably going to benefit yourself from the hill, as it's happening here on the game in this situation that Thunderbolt's finding himself against Andy. Andy's not being able to move, Thunderbolts knows the location of all the gold mines and he's just watching out to see what Andy's trying to do. So it's very difficult to come back once you lose a lot of map control, so do invest into enough army and siege so that you stay relevant in the game. That's my final take. Hope you guys enjoy it and hope you guys can have some fun with this map during your ranked matches. This is me, Stark, calling off as soon as this game finishes. By the way, if you want to see builds, if you want to see details and ideas of strategies or anything on this map, if you've played a cool stranded game and you want to share with me, just email me on Stark Age of Empires. I will leave the email here below this video so you guys can enter in contact. By the way, Andy failed to drop a castle here and ended up resigning after a lot of pressure from Thunderbolt, who dominate the game in most of the time, and as you can see, in the end, neither of the players has like a full control of the water. By the time Andy fully controls the water, he's already lost the center. So balancing both water and land investment is also a big challenge. Hope you guys like it and hope you guys try out the new map Stranded.